Hi guys, hope you're all okay. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things that I do to try and keep myself mindful, and then I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things that you can do to help ease anxiety. Now, mindfulness is something that I've been trying to work on a lot recently, especially within the last year. I have suffered quite a lot in the last 6 months, quite badly, with anxiety, and I have had CBT therapy. For those of you that don't know, that's cognitive behavioural therapy. It all came about last year, something that I've been dealing with for many years, and it all came to a head, and finally admitted to myself that I had anxiety and I needed to get some help and do something about it. But that's not something I'm going to go into today. But what I do want to share with you is the things that I do to keep myself mindful, and 3 things that I do to help ease my anxiety when I have an anxiety attack. Anxiety is very common. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and you would be surprised, the more you talk about it, the more the other people that you have around you that also suffer as well. So I'm going to get straight into it. The first thing to try and do to keep mindful is to practice yoga, or any form of exercise, because exercise releases happy endorphins, and that in turn makes us feel happy. And to practice yoga, to practice being at one with yourself and being more mindful about your body and how your body is feeling. You don't have to do it every day. Even if you can squeeze in 10 minutes here and there. Sometimes I do 10 minutes of yoga in the morning. If I can get my backside out of bed early enough, then I'll do a quick 10-minute session in the morning before work. Sometimes I'll do it in the evening, sometimes I'll do it at the weekends. I don't do it every day. But yes, yoga is a great way to be mindful about yourself and about your body. The second thing I try to do is meditate. Now, this is not something that I have done before all of this started. And quite honestly, if somebody said to me many years ago, try meditation, I probably would have just gone, nah, not for me. But actually, honestly, it really does help. And I do that by using an app called Calm. If I just click into it, and it's gonna... this app here called Calm, and it's got nice little waves on there when it comes up. And what I use on there, if I'm having an anxiety attack and I need to calm myself down, or I'm just feeling a little bit stressed out, there is a section on here. If you click on meditate here in the middle, and there's a little one there, I don't know if that you can see, it just says here breathe. And if you tap that, you can see it's got a little breathing cycle, and you just follow the pattern of the breathing in, holding the breath, and then releasing the breath again. And you can actually change the speed of the breathing as well. That is totally dependent on you, on how you're more comfortable with breathing, whether you breathe slower, faster. You can actually adjust that. But just a couple of minutes of that, really calms you down, really helps you focus and recenter yourself. So that's a really good one to try. There are also lots of different sessions on that app as well. You can do 7 days of calm, 7 days of mindfulness, 7 days of better sleep. There's all different types of meditation on there. It is a free app, but there is a pro version as well. I only have the free version, which is good enough for what I need it for. So yeah, that is the app that I use for meditation. And again, it's not something that I do every single day. None of these things are. If you can do any of these things every single day, then that's great. But let's be honest, sometimes when you've put the kids to bed and you've tidied up, all you want to do is just get into bed and go to sleep. So don't beat yourself up about it if you can't fit these things in every single day, because I don't. It's just, especially if I'm feeling really bad about myself at any given point, then I'll try and fit these in for a period of time. The third thing I started doing to help myself be more mindful is to write a journal. Now, all I did is I just got a little notebook from The Works, I think I got this one from, and it's just a ruled lined book in there, and I just literally write down there how I'm feeling in the day, what I did in that day, pretty much like blogging really. But I literally, especially if I'm having a bad day, I'll write down how I feel, what I think made me feel that way, things that Quinn did, what made me happy. Just write about your day in a book or online, however you want to do it. Just write down how you've been feeling in that day, and it really does help, honestly. For a couple of days, a couple of weeks of doing this, just putting down your feelings on a piece of paper, it's like taking it off your chest. It's like offloading it. It's like talking to somebody, just writing it down, knowing that it isn't going to go anywhere. If you don't want to talk about it to anybody, at least if you're writing it down, it is like getting it off your chest. So that's something else I've been doing that keeps me a bit more mindful. And another really good one that I've been doing as well is a gratitude jar. There's all different types of ways that you can do gratitudes. Some people will have a gratitude stone. Some people will just say their gratitudes out loud. Some people write them down. I have a jar that I keep beside my bed, and I've just decorated. It's just a mason jar really, like a airtight one that I got from Hobbycraft, and I've just decorated it. I've got on here with little letter stickers, happy jar on that side and gratitude jar on this side, and then on this side I've got smile jar just written down on there. And the idea being is I've got some post-it notes in there and a couple of pens, and before I go to sleep I will write at least 3 things that made me happy or made me smile in that day, and I'll fold them up on a piece of paper. I'll write the date on there, fold them up, put them inside the jar, and the idea being is after a year, or when the jar is full, you can sit down, empty the jar, and look back at all the things that have made you happy, things that have made you smile. Because I think it's very easy to focus on the negative, and it's very easy to get hung up on the things that put you in a bad mood, things that make you unhappy, things that make you sad. And it's very, very easy to forget about the simple things. And it can be anything from the sun shining through your bedroom window in the morning, how that makes you feel, listening to the birds in the morning, if that makes you happy, from walking down the street and a stranger giving you a smile, or holding the door open for you, or somebody said something nice to you on the phone at work and it just cheered you up. It can be literally anything, and even if it feels really silly at first to write down, I liked the sound of the leaves rustling in the breeze in the trees. It might seem silly, but it's a gratitude. It's something you're thankful for, something that you appreciate. Write it down, put it inside the jar, and you'll be surprised just at how mindful you become and how much happier you become as well. So a gratitude jar is something I really do recommend. And the 5th thing I've actually started doing as well is actually taking a little bit of time to read. I'm not a big reader. I've never been one to sit and read a book. I have read books, don't get me wrong. I sat and read all the 50 Shades of Grey books. If there is a book that I like and I can get into it, I will sit and read. But generally I'm not one to sit and read a book, whereas I know a lot of people do. But I have started taking a little bit of time to read, whether that be a novel or a self-help book, and even if it's just 10 minutes that I'm reading for, I might even only get 1 or 2 chapters read, not even a chapter sometimes. It really does depend. I'm not a strong reader. But one of the books that I'm reading at the moment is, I did pick myself up a couple from Tesco's recently. They had a sale on, and I picked up the Fern Cotton Happy book. And I'm only a little bit way through it. I have only started reading it. And what I'm doing is, again, not every day, is if I've got time and I'm awake enough and I want to go to bed but I don't want to go straight to sleep, then I will allocate 10 minutes just to read a couple of pages of a book, and that's all I need. And this particular book is actually quite good. It's about Fern Cotton having anxiety and depression and how she's overcome it, and I'm assuming how to overcome it as well, how she overcome it and how she lives her life now. I don't actually know, that's a pure guess. But yeah, if any of you have actually read this book and you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below what it was like, and if there's any other reading material very similar to this that you recommend, leave me a comment and let me know below. So they're the 5 things that I try and do to help keep myself mindful and calm. So I don't do them every day. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you, you have to do these every day, because otherwise it's not going to work. To be honest, for me, it does work when I do it, when I find the time to do it. I try and do it a couple of times a week if I can. I don't try and do it all 5 things in a day, because then you're just never going to get anything done. But yeah, if you can find time to put some of those bits and pieces that might help you out, then do it. You'll be surprised. So now I want to share with you 3 things that you can do to help calm yourself down if you're having an anxiety attack. If any of you suffer with anxiety, you will know it is awful, especially when you get to a point where you're so het up and you just can't find a release for your stress or your anger or your emotion. You just can't find a release for it, and your head just goes into a spin, and you can't pick thoughts. You can't differentiate between any thought in your head. You can't pick one thought to the next, and it's very, very tough. But I want to share with you 3 things that I've done to help calm myself down from an anxiety attack. And the first one being that breathing exercise that I just showed you from the meditation app. And it is very, very simple but effective technique. You could be at home, you can be at work, you can be outside, you could be walking, have an anxiety attack, but just stop what you're doing, get out your app, or remember how to do it in your head, and just breathe. Breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe out again, and just concentrating on how your body feels. And every time you breathe out, relaxing your shoulders. So it's like in, every time you do that for a couple of minutes, honestly, you're just refocusing yourself. You're just putting everything back in and just creating a sense of awareness around you. So that's one thing that you can try. The next thing is something a friend of mine at work told me about, and it is a technique called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you're having an anxiety attack, you play a sequence in your head, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that is 5 things that you can see. So you look around and look for 5 things that you can see, and either say them out loud or say them in your head. Then you want 4 things that you can touch, and actually touch them. And when I say touch them, feel how they feel. Then you want 3 things that you can hear. So listen for 3 separate noises that you can hear. Somebody's keyboard that somebody's typing at work, or someone's telephone ringing, or someone's talking, whatever it might be. You want 3 things that you can hear. Then you want 2 things that you can smell. For me, I have a bottle of essential oil lavender on my desk at work. I'll use that, I'll open the lid and I'll smell that, or I'll get a perfume out of my drawer or my bag and I'll smell a perfume. And then you want one thing that you can feel, like an emotion. So what emotion are you feeling? Take a mental note of it and feel it and appreciate it, accept it. And that's actually a really effective way of trying to refocus yourself and recenter yourself, because at the end of the day, when you're having an anxiety attack, the thing that you need to do most is recenter yourself, is pull your focus back in and calm yourself down. And that's a really effective way of doing it. And the third thing that I wanted to share with you is something I picked up during my CBT therapy, and that is what they call the worry tree. It's basically, there are particular forms that you can get when you're having CBT therapy. I'm not going to show you them because that's my own personal work, but there are ways that you can do it, and you can just have a little Google. I'll see if I can insert a clip of one of them that you can find on the internet somewhere here or here, wherever it will go. But it's basically about noticing the worry and writing it down. So you could be, I'll try and think of an example. You could be walking down the road and you could be thinking about something. I don't know, you've got a long car journey and you're worried about the car journey. Take a mental note of what that worry is and write it down. Now you can either deal with it then, or you can put that to one side and deal with it later, and set yourself time later to sit down and focus on that worry. And then you want to start writing down, try and rationalize that worry. What can you do to solve it? Is it a rational thought? If it's a genuine worry, then what can you do to help? If it's not a genuine worry, then the idea is to forget about it. Is to forget about the worries that are irrational, if you like. And a good way I find to do that is, because at first I found it very difficult to sort of, like I said earlier, when you're having an anxiety attack, it's very, very difficult to pick out what it is that's actually making you anxious. It does come with practice, and I did get very good at actually writing down worries, and it just meant if I had a notebook with me just randomly at work, I'll just, oh, something's worrying me, hang on a minute, I'm just going to go and write it down. Just carry a notebook around with you and just write it down and deal with it later. But a good way I found of actually doing the worry tree is brainstorming, and by that I literally mean like from a meeting room. Imagine a meeting room and somebody's got standing at a whiteboard and they're just writing random words down on a board, brainstorming ideas. That's exactly what I mean. Just write down random words, whatever words come to your head about the worry that you've got, or whatever it is that's stressing you out, or whatever it is that's causing you anxiety. Any particular word, just write them down, and just speech bubbles, just write it all down. And that's a really good way of actually getting your worries out. Is, again, it's just writing it down on paper. And you will be very, very surprised at how effective these things are. As I say, I'll try and put a clip of one of the worry tree examples that you can find on the internet. And please do let me know if you try any of them, or if you've got any, what techniques do you use? If you have anxiety attacks, what do you use that helps you? Do leave me a comment below and let me know. But yeah, those are my 5 things that I do to try and keep myself mindful, and 3 tips that you can try and to ease anxiety. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you get some use from it, because I know anxiety is very, very difficult to deal with, and so many people suffer in silence, and nobody should suffer in silence, and anxiety is something that should be talked about more. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave me a comment below. Let me know how you deal with things, and if you try any of my suggestions, and let me know how you get on. But thank you very, very much for watching this video. Please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see any more from me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.